All right. So, remind me again how to say your name. It's Wang, and then how's the second part?
Uh, it's Jiale.
Jella.
Yeah, yeah,
Did I get
it's fine.
close at all?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's just yeah, a lot of people mispronounce my name. It's fine. It's okay.
So what should I call you? Jella?
Um, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So in the meeting description that you filled out, you said when I was asking what you were looking for, you said that I am an
Mhm.
aspiring VFX artist, and when I saw your classes, I was hoping that it would help me improve my current work as well as cover all the skills that I needed to know about. So,
Right.
would you like to explain a little bit, like what would you like to get out of today's session? And like, where
Um,
have you been? Like, what have you been learning and studying to get to where you are today? And where do you hope to go in the future? I don't know that we
right.
can get you there today, but like maybe in some small way we can help you get there today.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so actually I started off like in a game design course. Yeah,
Mhm.
so they actually offered a lot of stuff, like very general stuff. And the VFX was just part of it. So when we got to that part, I kind of just like fell in love with it. So I decided to like pursue it and
Mhm.
improve myself. Yeah, so it kind of like started like last year around there.
Cool.
So yeah, so I just been trying to improve myself. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I was hoping this course would like because honestly the course that I was taking wasn't that great. So
The course you were thinking was what?
it wasn't that great. So I had
Oh, the
to
course you were in wasn't that great.
yeah, I had to like find other ways to improve myself. So I was hoping that this would give me a much better
Mm,
education than what I got there.
gotcha. Very
Yeah.
cool. So when did you first join the VFX Apprentice course?
Recently, just like a month ago. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're just
Yeah.
getting started, and that's awesome. This is great. So
Yeah.
you sent over some work that we're going to bring up. I'm going to just bring it up
Mhm.
here, and we'll
Yeah.
have it to.
It's not much. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So we'll just talk about what you've got. I think generally, I've looked through it a little bit in advance, and generally, I really like what I'm seeing. I think you've got some good construction in some of these, and I think there's some
Oh,
refinement
thank you.
to go over in a few of them. So
Sure.
we'll start with
Okay.
this stylized punches ability here. All right. Let's see if I can sort of move that up so you can see it a little better. Cool. So talk to me about this. Open image, a new tab. Yeah, we can make that big. There we go. Really big. So walk me through
Okay.
your thought process on this, and then I'll give some notes.
Yeah. When I started making this, I kind of took like inspiration from anime and cartoons where they like throw out like a barrage of punches. Yeah. So I just wanted to like recreate that. So
Right.
yeah. I just kind of like how do you say just try to like reference like previous work like JoJo. No JoJo.
Jojo. Wait, which one is?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Yeah, I really like that. I kind of
Oh, I
under.
haven't seen that one. I need to watch it though. I've heard good things.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Yeah, so just try and create like the stylized stuff, which you can see from Smash Brothers.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, that's where I got these kind of like impact circles and the smoke on the ground. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So I think, I mean, first off, what I love about this effect is the timing and the shapes and the punchiness are all very successful. Like it's very clear what's happening and it's very satisfying. Like I'm really enjoying watching it over and over again because it like has this nice, this wind up, and then bam, the big punch at the end and it has this
Yeah.
nice flash and it's in and out and it has this nice overlapping timing with the clouds on the ground. I think all of your composition is great. What I would
Oh,
consider
thank you.
this totally, what I would consider this to be is like a block out. So you've blocked out all of your shapes and you've laid in where they go, how they're timed, their rotation and colors and all these things. But now what I would want to see is a little more interest in the motion of the materials themselves, and just a little bit. Like you don't want to overdo it because it is a very simple style that you're working with here. But I feel like it could be just a little more refinement. So like for these little bits that are coming out, having a little dissolve on them. So like the blue bits that are streaking out in backwards,
Mm-hmm.
like having like a little swipe of a dissolve so that they
So,
have a little bit of an outro. They're timed exactly the same. They live just as long as they do now, but they swipe out. So they're not just like a static card that just appears and then disappears. Appears and disappears, appears and disappears.
let's see.
Um, maybe even just like 2 frames of animation of them just like eating away is going to add that really nice interest.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, and similarly, I think like this dust on the ground could use just a
Mhm.
little bit of animation inside of its material. So again, maybe like a really slow, subtle dissolve that just eats it away, or something like that. I think also the the dust could reach out a little bit further on the inside. So the outside has a good. I wonder if I can't freeze it. Let's see here. Let me try some weird magic. Let's see if I can capture this. All right. Yeah, it worked. Okay. Did a quick screen clipping. Okay. So here we go. So on the outside, it's got this like more blunt edge. And then I think on the inside, you could pull these shapes just a little bit further in, these tips. And not all of them, but
Okay.
just some of them, just a little bit further in, so they lag behind. And it'll create these like nice fingers that sort of come into the center that pull away from each other, and then have that animate. You could just create a little more interest in your shapes. It's really all
Okay.
that would be. But overall, very successful. I think honestly, depending on the the performance requirements of the game that you're working on, this might be good enough already, because they're like, oh, we don't want to add extra instructions to do a dissolve, or we want to keep the style just super simple, or something like that.
Mhm.
I think on these little fingers that come back here as well, you could probably refine those shapes just a little bit, because right now they they have like super detailed little lines inside of them, and the detail's fine. It's just uh, maybe it's just because I'm seeing the exact same shape over and over again. You might just want like a variety of those cards. So it's like a sprite sheet instead of just one type. And we go over this in the lightning bolt texture painting portion, how to create like a sprite sheet with different dissolve maps,
Oh,
and also to just create the variety. So it's like 4 different dissolve maps with the different bursts, and you'll learn a lot for that. You don't have to make your shapes look the same as the shapes that I did. You can stay with the same kind of shapes you have, but just create a little bit of variety so that it randomly chooses different ones. So it's not just the same card over and over again.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Any questions on this to follow up on?
um, no, not really.
All right.
Oh, um, actually, sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
At the last punch, right, the smoke that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, how do I improve on that? Because honestly, that's like one part which I don't really like about it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like what I said, where um, you're gonna want to make this like every now and then add like a
Oh,
little finger of smoke that comes in.
sorry. No, I meant the rings.
Oh, these rings.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, there's more than one ring in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that you could have them timed differently. Right now, they kind of slide forward at the same speed. You could have
Mm-hmm.
one slide a little faster than another, and the other one like kind of lags behind it. Um, I think having what one thing that I love that people do on these is again they have a dissolve where
Right.
it almost dissolves in a circular motion. So like as it's eating away, it kind of feels like it's spinning a little bit.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, learning about dissolves and how to get those set up is going to be really valuable for you. I think the sparkles, I don't know, like maybe the sparkles aren't my favorite. Maybe it'd be funny to do like little cartoony stars, like a little cartoony star or like a little cartoony hashtag, and just kind of like a mixture of like, old school pow, and it like has little symbols that fly out,
Oh, I see.
to keep with the cartoony vibe. Um, they're really bright right now. They're like a bit brighter than I would expect. Their timing is nice, and they do tie in with this beam. So maybe it's fine to keep like a couple of sparkles, but you probably don't need that many. And I
Okay.
think also you could have the sparkles like come like halfway out along that beam and just
Oh,
match more to the beam itself, and then maybe it's like the other bits kind of fly out, and just try it out. Like these are just ideas. Like you could kind of just play around with it, and maybe something else is going to look good too.
okay.
Yeah, cool. All right, good question. All right, so we've got this church grib effects. These are kind of like symbols that have like sort
Mm.
of holy magic coming out of them.
Yeah, this was actually for one of the projects I had in my course. Yeah, we had to create a game and I was in charge of the effects. So,
Very cool. Well, again, I think they tell the story accurately. Like it's cool. I like this one the best. This is my favorite. Um, they tell the story accurately. I think again, it's a matter of polish and refinement and getting things where they need to be. This one, the burst that comes out needs work on the timing. The awesome timing that I saw in the punch, I'm not seeing here. And
right.
so I think I would like to see a little better uh, outro where it more slowly fades. Right now, it's just kind of bleh, and it just ends, and everything just kind of
Right.
is in and then out. This ring up here doesn't look good from this camera angle. It's like
Oh,
very, very flat to camera. I don't have
oh,
time to enjoy the lightning strike that comes down. I can't even tell that that's what it is until I've watched it a few times. So give it some time to resolve and to kind of like it comes in really quickly, which is great, but give it some time to like resolve itself at the end. And then on this one, I think I think this one's good. It's just I'm having trouble because it doesn't feel super glowy. It kind of has like an emissiveness to it, but it the interior shape is just a solid color of glow, and it
oh,
doesn't feel like energy to me. It feels like a cutout piece of paper because it's just one solid color inside of all of it. What you need is some interior glow, like a lightsaber, like how it has that gradient inside of it. It's not a lightsaber, if you look at it, it's not just a solid color that comes to a very hard edge. It's got like gradient inside of the core so that it feels like hot energy that fades out to the edges. And you can still have a bit of a hard edge to show the edge of your magic, but not like just total solid color to the hard edge. It'd be like white in the middle to like a faint yellow, and then a hard edge, and then maybe an orange glow. around it.
Okay.
Also, with Holy Magic, I think you could incorporate more blues. You have a little bit of blue in here. Maybe that's just because it's blending with the background when it glows up. I think you could put more like cyan into there and play around with your colors a little bit to get it to have a little more color richness. Also, even touches of pink, oftentimes I've seen work really well with Holy Magic. So, like little touches of pink, little touches of light blue, and the yellow work really well together to create Holy Magic. Otherwise, it feels very flat with its color.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so play around with the color ranges and things. I think the motion is fun. I think these like blips coming out could be more interesting. Right now, they're just perfect circles, and you could have
Mm,
something a little more organic in there with how the magic is like dispersing. Like play around with like lens effect type stuff, like maybe a little lens flare or something that fades out around that. Could
yeah.
be really cool. Yeah, this one, I think the biggest thing is on this final hit that smoke material needs some love, right? Like it needs some animation in it, whether you do a flip book or if you do a dissolve, just something when it impacts to get it to look nice. You get away with it on these smaller meshes. It looks more or less okay, but even there, I think it could use some animation touches. And I like the
Okay.
dash. The dash has a nice feeling to it. The wind up too feels really good. Some really cool stuff in here.
Nice.
And I love your dust. So it's funny because like I was looking at this, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean it's a decent flip book, it has decent timing and everything. But when I see it in game, I'm like, oh,
Mm,
that's pretty dope. Like it actually works really nicely. I think the biggest challenge that it's hitting is the colors are completely mismatched to the environment, and
mm,
so you need to just basically put it in that same greenish gray area. It could be a little bit more prominent if you want it to be noticeable, but there's no brown or tan anywhere in the dirt. And so it becomes very hard to believe that it's coming from that environment and it really calls too much attention to itself.
okay.
It's a nice little dust poof. I mean, for sure. I actually like it quite a bit.
Thank you.
Any questions? I'm kind of zooming through these.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm enjoying the feedback.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I think the yellow bits that come out could just follow that timing of like the bouncing ball, how it goes up and then it slows down and then it accelerates when it comes down again, and just sort of exaggerate that. They also died all exactly at the same time. Maybe some of them live a little longer, that kind of thing. Right now it's just brink and they're all gone. Similarly, these all die at exactly the same time. It could vary when they die. Um, this
Okay.
is pretty fun right here. It's kind of a fun little like cooking thing, right?
Mhm.
Money. Yeah, I'm not seeing the coin aspect in here. It's funny if this is the texture that's being used. I think once it like slows down, that'll help quite a bit. But
All right.
also, if you just took the extra step to put this on a mesh, you could rotate it,
Oh, I see. I see.
and have them like rotate like coins, which would look really nice. The Wind
Um,
Waker. See a lot of art on this one. I actually the swoopiness that you've got in your textures with like the thick and thin and the the overall motion of these is really nice. Actually, I really like it. Um, it feels good. There's something about that style that I like. I don't know if in Wind Waker did they use this same kind of design. I need to see the original reference, but I felt like you could have added a little more um, variety to your burst,
oh,
like because when it happens when the burst happens here, I just don't know. Like maybe it's supposed to be this simple, but I don't know that I like it that simple. Like maybe it'd be nice if some of the tendrils actually came out a little further, or some of them lasted just a little bit longer or something to enhance that. I think your timing of the dust poofs is perfect. I think, they come out really quickly and then they slow way down and they kind of rotate in place really gradually. And it feels really good. I think again though, well maybe it's not totally perfect because you could have some of them die just a little bit faster than others. Maybe you want the main cloud to remain a sphere and so you have that die all at the same time. But these little ones, like it'd be cool if some of them were out sooner than some of the others. Yeah, so okay. How was that?
That was great. Thank you.
So you're still in school. How much longer do you have in school?
Hmm. No, actually, I just graduated.
Oh, you just graduated. Cool, cool. So what's next?
Right now I'm just trying to work on my portfolio and get started on the course. Because yeah, honestly, I didn't really have much time to do the VFX apprenticeship, so
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
just started recently.
Nice. Stay focused. Get yourself a deadline. We're going to have another class out in the next few months. So it'd be awesome if you were done with this one by the time that one comes out. So
Okay.
yeah, that would be great. I think you're close. I think it won't be much longer before you're going to find yourself at a job. I probably the key is just get a few more pieces in your portfolio and refine the ones that you have, and you'll
Okay.
have a competitive portfolio, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. This is
Actually,
really
could I
exciting to
ask
see.
for,
What's that?
sorry, could I ask for some advice?
Absolutely. What's up?
Okay, so what I really want to do, right, is those kind of cutscene VFX animation kind of thing. Like, the kind you see in like those kind of anime games where they just like cut to the guy and then the guy like does his skill or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, what do I have to work on if I want to do this kind of stuff?
Mm. Well, you're definitely going to want to go more into high detail materials. Like,
Okay.
um, are these done in Unity or Unreal?
Unity.
These are all in Unity. I think I
Yeah.
would be open to exploring Unreal just because you can more quickly get like, you know, higher fidelity materials and you can get like lighting and stuff that looks really nice and cinematic a lot more easily in my experience with Unreal. Now, the class goes over all of that, so you'll be able to learn all the Unreal tools. The thing that you're going to want to do is the cinematic camera sequences. I forget what it's called, but there's a way to do it in Unreal, and you can look up tutorials on that, how to do a cinematic in Unreal, so that you can play it out um, scene by scene. Because you're talking about like in Final Fantasy when they summon a spell or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like especially if you're going for like a Final Fantasy, doing something very high fidelity with like really sophisticated materials and things, because you've got the timing and the shapes going really well. You're going to want to work a lot more on your color though. Your color
Okay.
needs some help in order to like sort of showcase this beautiful shimmery magic. And I would start by doing fan art. So find a spell from a game that you really admire and see if you can recreate it step by step, you know,
Okay. Okay.
summoning some crazy beam of energy from the clouds or whatever it is, right? Like those things are pretty intense. I look at them in awe when I look at like a Final Fantasy summon. I'm just like, holy cow, that's gorgeous. They're really impressive, for sure, for sure. But yeah, if you had one of those in your portfolio, even just one, and you showcased
Mhm.
that, I think studios would look at you very seriously if that was the kind of work they were doing. Really, it comes
Mhm.
down to whatever you want to work on, you should fill your portfolio with that. So if you want to work on games like that, then having a spell like that in there would be really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what you've got here, I think, is much more geared towards like mobile games that need to run on very, very low end phones because it's very simple, it's very charming, but it's well crafted for what it is. Like you have a good art sensibility to you. I think you just need to, if you want to go for those higher end games, then you're probably going to want to flesh out your the, the beefier tools. You know what I mean?
Right.
But getting the art skills is the hard part, in my opinion. I think learning those crazier tools is like you'll get there. You'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Kind of just more intimidating to me. So yeah.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay, well, I will catch you later.
Okay. Thank you so much for today.
Absolutely. It's been great chatting. You have a good one.
Same. You too.
Bye.
Bye.